Been starting right here on Hog Island early in the morning with these north winds. If you find the bait, you find the fish. But I've been giving it right around right here, 10 to 15, 20 minutes, throwing live mullet or cut mullet, working my way up here. Those reds have been going back and forth with that north wind. As the day progresses, there's a little reef right here, right before where it goes inside a hog, and we've been throwing some live mullet there, catching a few trout. Then I'll buzz back over here, looking at this island right here on the spoil, right off the edge. Right here on the side, there's been a lot of bait going all the way up and down here, and I just been working my way up and down that reef right there, catching some nice fish. There's some trout, there's some drum in there mixed in, and a few redfish. After that, I will go down, come all the way down these spoils right here behind island number one, and I'm fishing these. Depending on which way the wind is where the bait is. If the wind's out of the north, then I'll fish this side. If the wind's out of the south southeast, I'll fish this side over here. And we're just working these spoils right here, jumping back and forth, throwing cut mullet, catching some nice redfish. Been running into South Bay right up here, and I've actually been fishing this way high. We've had some really high water lately, so we've been throwing some live mullet or cut mullet up in here, catching some redfish early in the morning. First thing up on this oyster, there's a lot of oyster right here in the South Bay, right on the we call it grassy. After that, I'll come a little bit further down north, and there's a reef right over here, and we've been working that reef. As it progressively gets later in the day, those redfish have been coming right there on that reef, going up and down, and just sit and wait on them. After that, I'll come through here, come right over here and fish these little spoil islands. And what all I've been doing is just paying attention to the wind, and I'll go by them. Again, I'm in an airboat, and I'll go by them and look at these spoils. And if there's bait right on the edge, I'm fishing that right there on the edge. If not, I'll go to the next one and fish that right on the edge. And there's been some good redfish all right here. Back up in this little island right in here, there is some nice drum. So get you some shrimp and throw out there on the bottom, fishing those in the potholes. They like the sand way more than they like the grass. They're easier to catch, and we've just been working that area right there. So we've been starting way high up here, fishing these potholes up over here on East Shore. The tide's been super high, so we've been working all this. There's a bunch of potholes in between this whole area right here, and we've been jumping through those potholes, catching some nice redfish, throwing cut mullet. As the day progresses, I've noticed that the tide's going out, so they kind of move out a little bit. There's a little bitty cut right here. If the tide dumps out completely, you can fish this right here and catch those redfish falling off. Again, there's some few trout in there, so if you throw some live mullet, you will catch some nice trout in there. We've been catching some 19s to 20s, 22s. After that, I'll move further up the shoreline. There's a bowl right here up on East Shore, and I've been fishing that bowl. In that bowl, I've been catching some redfish and a few trout. We actually caught about a 23, 24-inch flounder in the other day. As the day progresses, I just keep on bumping down here. Again, there's bait and scattered fish all up and down the shoreline right here. So if you throw some live mullet or some cut mullet, you can really start catching those fish as soon as you find those balls of bait.